ile kutandikwa hako ya JKI nini ile happenigi?
Hiyo story ya Miguna unajua general naye yako tukivi yake. So
hii ilikuwa time analipwa
time after Shaswa in Raila hapa nini sasa ikawa hiyo deportation nini
vile Uhuru na Raila walishikana so ka identify the common problem
so wakamrusha apelekwe huko Canada. So ile time tumekaa huko kutoka saa asubuhi tumekaa mpaka usiku sasa bado tu hizo madrama. So kufika sasa masaa 5 ile time sijui alikuwa sasa ana forcefully wekwa kwa ndege. I think sasa ndio Makarios sasa wakasema ma-GSU wakaambiwa sasa hao majamaa wako hapo wa clear kabisa. So wakakuja hapo wanatupiga nini so ikawa sasa mimi ndio nilikuwa hapo front line hapo. Ndio sasa ikawa nikajipata kwenye hiyo patashika. Lakini uzuri sikuumia sana. Sasa hizo wa injuries tu ya hapo za first aid nikashughulikiwa haraka. Nikapelekwa hapo JKI hospital. Nikafanywa nikaatendiwa, my company ikaweka ambulance on standby. Luckily enough there was no cause of alarm sana ya ku necessitate ambulance ikuje. And then from there I went for recovery. From there at least nikajua pia marafiki ni akina nani wale ambao walikuwa wanakuja kuni visit nini. Kutoka hapo nikawa newsmaker, manake media houses zilikuja nyumbani kwangu kwa one bedroom kangu kule Roysambu. Nimekaa hivi wanani interview na ikawa mzuri. NTV akina hao walikuja, Citizen wakakuja, A24.
Hiyo time pia ilikuwa like also ile umekuwa involved in very iconic moments because hiyo ilikuwa the time ya the infamous I will not board. Ilikuwa I will not board.
Yes, I will not board. Not board. So uzuri sisi Citizen venye tulikuwa tumejipanga, tulikuwa tumejua hiyo time kwamba huyu Miguna atawekwa. So ile ndege yenye alikuwa akiwekwa tukabukia Jeff Koinange. Unaona? So Jeff Koinange alikuwa ndani ya ndege yenye Miguna anatumia.
Ile video inakuwa Jeff Koinange.
Yes, ni ile alikuwa
akipiga.
Yes.
Jeff alikuwa na pia nani alikuwa? Si Moses pia alikuwa, Moses Kuria. Hapa isile Moses Kuria umwangaliaga was hako kwa hiyo flight pia.
So that is why wakati all this is happening outside, already sisi tushatoka kwa hii commotion hapa nje, tuko live na Jeff Koinange ndani ya hiyo ndege. Kukiwa na hiyo commotion. So hivyo ndio tulikuwa tumejipanga. So at least ikaje ikaisha. And then sasa nikakuwa sasa when now funny enough when I texted Miguna wakati alifikishwa huko nikumuuliza unaendeleaje, I wanted to do a follow up on you nini hata mimi nilikuwa nimejiumia upande huu umeumia pia upande huu. Akasema young man kwa message. Akanitumia young man respect my space. Sijui nini, viva, mobilize, stop sending messages. Since your days sijaim text tena mpaka leo.
Ukisha jabadilisha namba vile likainja si Safaricom alishindwa hini namba gani iko active. Akaenda kwa mizima. Lakini hizo zimekuwa like very iconic moments.
Mbele hiyo story ya Aaron Cheriot.
Sasa nilikuwa nataka kuuliza joyo kwa sababu kuna time Aaron Cheriot akiwa alikuwa NTV. Alikuwa amejam na wewe mbaya.
History ya Aaron Cheriot is very interesting. Because Aaron Cheriot pia was taking the bullet for this guy called Kipchumba Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen until today akasdani nikimpigia simu anaweza shika simu yangu. Something happened it was at the early stages ya Uhuru na Ruto kukosana. Walikuwa wanafanya mikutano mingi sana pale Weston. So mimi nilikuwa nimeget information that kuna mkutano inaendelea Weston. So Murkomen alikuwa ameandika kitu, I think Ruto hakufurahia hiyo kitu. Then akawaambia and then him retract. So when we were doing that interview nikamuuliza swali, he retracted
everything.
Ile kitu alikuwa amesema alikuwa quoted, I think ilikuwa kwa gazeti. Akasema mimi sikusema hivyo. So when that story went on air, editor mwenye alikuwa pale kwa desk aliandika Murkomen ala matapishi yake.
Okay.
Sasa Murkomen akasema mimi kazi yangu ni kutwist
words.
So we've had a love-hate relationship with Murkomen since that time. Na mimi siwezi kukuambia kuna kitu yenye nilifanya. Very interesting. Juu ilikuwa inafika mpaka wakati anaambia mpaka mabosses wangu kama mnanitumia mtu kuni interview akiwa majority leader msitume Murithi. So ni kama hiyo kitu ikakuwa contagious to Aaron. Aaron alikuwa anakuja anasema kwanza that Murithi guy. Na sasa yeye ni commissioner parliament. That Murithi guy, I don't know, he lacks professionalism nini. So ule mse mwenye aliniteteanga ni nani? Ni Halwale.
Oh, Halwale. Okay.
Halwale alimwambia, I don't know why you bothered with Murithi. Yet he came to parliament even before you.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah.
Ilikuwa support kubwa. So to make the long story short, house wawili hata saa hii nikiwapigia simu hawezi shika simu yangu. Sijui kwa nini. Na mimi nilikuwa tu job.
Wow.
Yangu ilikuwa tu job. Nilifanya. Aaron hata saa ukimsimamisha. Umuuliza mlifanya nini na Murithi hawezi kukwambia. Siwezi sema nimemnyang'anya dem, siwezi sema nimemnyang'anya dem. Ni kazi. Now journalism is very interesting. Today we are friends because we've done a good story. Tomorrow I will do a story about you that is different. But anyway, Murkomen CS Murkomen na majority leader
Ikonen
Aaron Cheriot. Mwaze tukweni mabesti.
Ikonen.
Ndio sasa hivi mnaweza nipatia hata kabiashara kidogo na sweep hapo hivyo mnalijenga jo. Iko kitu kitamu.
Kwa saizi wako gava. Machungu. Akufai kuwa na machungu.
Juu mimi mpaka kumekuwa na efforts za to reconcile. But zimekuwa thwarted. But I cannot authoritatively tell you that ndio kitu nilitukosanisha. Hakuna. But
then ma politicians chukoga vitu to heart hivyo.
Si wote.
Cause you may take to heart yani cause nani najuaga iko hivyo Miguna. Like mshade na a lot of politicians. So lazima niulize, do you think Miguna anaweza ever kuwa like an elected MP?
Yeah, nice.
Like, cause me without friends can he keep friends?
Gen Z tamchagua.
Will he keep friends cause no one trusts him? Can you survive in politics if people don't trust you?
Unajua siasa ni msimu. Siasa ni msimu. The same way msimu huu ulikuwa kuhusu agenda hii, msimu ule mwingine unabadilika. Miguna ni mtu ambaye kila Mkenya aliona kwamba alidhulumiwa. Kuhakikisha kwamba umefukuzwa Kenya ila hali wewe ni Mkenya. So kufikia saa hii kila Mkenya anajua Miguna hajawahi kuwa upande wa makosa, lakini serikali ilimdhulumu kwa vyovyote vile. Na hata kukataa kumrejesha nchini hata baada ya wao kusalimiana, hata baada ya kila kitu Miguna stands a chance if he plays his politics well. He has gone to Kisumu already. He has begun to what I will call try to unseat Raila on the seat ya Nyanza. Ameanza kuambia kwamba watu is starting to lead a revolution. His move is timely kwa sababu he comes when Raila is slowly edging himself out from the political scene. So which means akicheza kadi zake vizuri, the Kenya Kwanza government is already dangling development carrots to the Nyanza region. Already the recent cabinet meetings approved 1 billion shillings for fisheries in Kisumu. That tells you should people like Miguna play well their political cards, they might be able to get a slice of a political support.
I'm of a very different view. There's a lot of political jostling within Nyanza. A lot of it. The problem with Miguna, which I know probably when he sees this he's going to attack me, is that he wants to be a lone ranger. Lone ranger politics is very hard. For you to achieve anything, you have to coalesce around each other. That's why Kidero is already building a team around himself. Na ataka kutake initiative ya kudrive wale wase wa Nyanza wenye wako ready kuwork na William Ruto. William Ruto is also another politician that has shown that in this country, for you to survive, you don't have kukanyagilia watu wengine. Ukitoa promise, your promise unaimake. Kuna wasenya aliandikiana na wao akasema nikiform government, mimi nataka minister position. Now, interestingly, amewasort show that you don't have to be you don't see lazima ujump na say
politics of conmanship.
But you see it's still too early. That's why I'm telling you, Ken, that Miguna stands a chance depending on how he will play his political cards.
Yes.
Because still, we've just from a general election, luckily enough, is in during the first 6 months, ameingia, which means the next 4 years, yake ni kujijenga na kutafuta alliances na kujipanga kisiasa. He also interestingly comes at a time when maybe the name of Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot in 2027, which means the political temperatures in the Nyanza region will be very low, as opposed to when they had a candidate at the presidential level. So which means you will realize that a lot of independent candidates or other political party candidates might be coming from Nyanza region because of the political the political changes already in the region. So that's why saizi unaona akina David Ochieng tayari wao wameanza kulead group inaenda Kenya Kwanza. Mike huyo David Ochieng anaweza kuwa re-elected.
No, he has already been re-elected.
Yes, he's been re-elected. Chama yake. Which means going to a situation where Raila is not on the ballot in 2027, it means the ODM party will have been shaken, and more political parties in Nyanza will also come up and also now have candidates that will, because the problems with Nyanza is going against the party leader of ODM. The moment the party leader is not on the ballot, it means now it's a free-for-all race. So
on the flip side, my thinking, my own views, I look at the possibility of William Ruto getting so many votes from Nyanza in 2027 if Raila is not on the ballot. And I'm using the word if because Raila has already shown that he's reinventing himself with the purposes of we don't know. Juzi too. Juzi last weekend. Somebody told me that Orengo said in the Luo that what stops Raila from running again. You see that? So there are predominantly other regions that might come out to support Ruto in 2027, including Nyanza. Including Nyanza. Wala wasa wanaweza msupport sana.
On the other side of that, you might end up also getting voter apathy in that very same Nyanza region. A reason we don't have our man on the ballot. So number one, Baba is not there, and you know how Baba has an arsenal support in the region. So if he's not there, it means why go vote. Already watu wengi sana, if you go to the IBC database, wameapply eti wao wakwe deleted from the voter register. Because wanajua Baba hayuko 2027, sasa unapigia dadi mwingine. So those kind of political shifts will happen depending now on how the Nyanza leadership will plan themselves. And talking of Nyanza, you're talking starting with Nyamira all the way to Siaya. You see very potential governors. Start with Simba Arati, who is jostling now to take over the leadership of the party as national chair. Go to Homa Bay, Gladys Wanga is also a very strong woman. Go to Siaya itself, you see James Orengo. Those are people now that the ODM supporters are looking at to see how will they take over from Raila Odinga, because what has happened is that it has been so sudden that Raila is exiting the stage and the stage becomes empty from the region. Nobody is feeling. Kidero miscalculated his moves. He went against the party when the party needed him in the 2022 general election, the recent one. So he went against. Had he come and done a national campaign with Raila Odinga when Wanga gotten the ticket, it means he will have positioned himself, because he's now the one of the wealthiest politician in Nyanza. He will have positioned himself for the succession. But what he did, he edged himself out and started fighting. Will this fighting yield fruits, or it is the collaboration with the party in the region that will give them the hair. So those are the things we are waiting to see in the run up to the next election. Number 2, a lot of people are now starting to say, are we going to witness a similar marriage of Ruto Gachagua to be the same marriage as Uhuruto, whereby the first term they are darlings and the second term they are enemies. Should that happen, what are the options for Rigathi Gachagua, who is the deputy president aiming to be president?
And also, just to add on to what he's saying, I see the possibility of Ruto working too hard to court other regions.
Already he is.
Yes, already he is working so hard to court other regions that the Kikuyu factor may not be so key
to his re-election,
to the next election.
Absolutely.
Because I'm looking at the Luo nation supporting William Samoei Ruto in 2027. And these are my own personal views. How I am looking at it. I am looking at the Luya community shifting their focus and probably even supporting William Ruto. What I know and where there were blunders that were made in the making of the Azimio One Kenya coalition is that they assumed that they were too good, and when they let Mudavadi and Wetangula go,
yes,
that's
hiyo kitu iliyo meth. Whether walikuwa wanaleta kura moja, kura mita,
with that
kura one,
walikuwa na keep presidents.
Walikuwa na keep presidents. Kwa sababu ile siku kwenye Ruto aliingia pale Bomas, wakaingia na Mudavadi, Ruto knew that the presidency is a heartbeat away. Because he was left with 2 people who were very key in Western. Raila still held Western, but the 2 most important people from Western, coming from 2 of the largest tribes, Maragoli na Bukusu, wakiwa pamoja. Wetangula has a fanatical following in Bukusu land. Mudavadi on the other side may not have as big a following, but he is a leader.
Still dents you.
Ni ule msee mwenye akona ushawishi mkubwa. So Ruto was not looking for the whole of the Luya block to start with. He wanted to fragment that region. And fragmenting that region, remember the difference between these two was about 200,000 votes. Those were votes that were delivered by Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula. Whether these people look at it differently or not. Au kwa naonyesha
madhara. Hili ndio walifanya akashinda. I think hata kwa hii kwa podcast si atukuagi watu, we are not very political ama we can't analyze politics like the two of you, but tuko on record tukisema the same thing, like the day you lost to Wetangula and na tulisema in hindsight, unajua so sema hindsight is what so like after isha happened, but tulisema the day umse ali lose Wetangula and Mudavadi, the day it ended, because alishindwa na around 260 and that's what they delivered from like nini. So ukichukua tu even half of that upatie Raila, it shifts, because you know the way numbers work. Like if you take this 130 nitakuwa nikome at 260 because you'll have taken from him. So inamaanisha he'd have ended up being president if he just kept half of what they gave to.
And you know Musalia was saying every time alikuwa hata ungeona tu roho yake alikuwa anasema ako sawa na hawa. Hata walikuwa kitu dynasty, lakini alikuwa akisema hakuna vile tutaekwa kama mahindi kwa silo, msana kuja anafungua hivi, anaona mko alafu anatoka anaishia. Walikuwa na madharau. So Mudavadi, even when he was going to join William Ruto, I don't think he went with any demand. I don't think he went with any demand.
Respect to.
Alisema acha mazeni ende pali kuna msemo mwenye anani value. And that is how politics is. Now that we sit back and look at these things, considering that we even went and covered these campaigns, and I can say this without any fear of contradiction, I have realized that William Ruto was listening more to the people that were around him and implementing what they were saying. Because they would sit in a meeting and they would discuss and come up with a common word to say, as opposed to the other side where everybody was coming with their own different views. And remember, they fought too much on who should be flag bearer, yet William Ruto had already decided and sold himself as William Ruto. The deputy was coming to ride on Ruto's popularity, because Ruto already alikuwa shaonyesha mina fight, and he had already played the victim card very well. So analyzing what happened, mimi hata naweza kuambia sidhani kulikuwa na wizi.
But now the question is, what could stop Ruto from being a two-term president? Because I think the only thing, according to mimi, ni ujinga ya removing presidential terms that can work against him. I don't think he's the one. But is there anything else that can stop him? Like in 2027, do you see any formidable like opposition coming up? And
you see, opposition is born out of what people feel.
Yeah.
Opposition is born from when you feel like there are people who are eating and they're not involved in you. Opposition comes from points where people will believe that tumevumilia sana. We don't know what tomorrow portends.
But as things stand right now,
even if Ruto wanted to rule for 100 years, he will.
We hope not. We hope he does not want that. Because comes that question. History of presidential term limits on a personal level. Would you ever support it?
Yes.
Like for us to remove presidential term limits and go back to...
Yes.
You'd support it?
By the way, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going through what Fafi MP Yakub Sala was doing. And for me, democracy is not about your terms zako zimeishaenda. You know? For me, democracy is about, do I trust you to continue handling my resources and my taxes as a taxman? If yes, it means I trust you in office and I don't want the other person. And that is democracy. But if democracy is about, now terms zako mbili zimeisha, you are a bad person, ingia maliza yako utoke, you are a bad person, when mzuri ingia yako. I mean, that is not democracy. For me, democracy is about if you are that leader. An example that Yakub Sala gave was, look, Kibaki was the best, but he was removed by the constitution. If Kibaki wanted to continue ruling, people will have elected him because of the magnificent job he did.
I think
but now the constitution
that's
said
debatable.
That's debatable.
Yes, it is.
So I can neza kuinterrupt pole
it's okay. So you're having a conversation.
That's debatable because if you look when did this story imeibiwa start? It started in 2007.
Yes.
Specifically because of Tharaka Nithi.
Yes.
So that means that if you are to go with those numbers, even go with Ruto's views that time, Kibaki was a one-term president.
Absolutely.
That's why we ended up. So it means that people don't care
but the thing is,
people don't care about development to that level.
Exactly.
Kenya will always have the tribal element.
You see, Letoo, what is this that you want to do for more than 10 years?
Yes.
That is why, what is this that I cannot do for more than 10 years?
Yes, because you'll get comfortable. Let's look at
the thing is,
the best economy in the world.
What Ruto is saying, he is using these 5 years to clean up the mess.
No.
Yes, that is what they are saying. If
Ruto is already cleaning up.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
We're clean up now.
Our system is, and even during campaigns, Raila used to say it, that our politics has become so bad to an extent that when a president gets into office, his work is to clean up the mess that the other one left, and then now the second term is the one he uses now to settle to do his job, and by the time he's doing, everything is off. For me, I don't have a problem with the term limits because it is us Kenyans. By the way, there can be term limits, but now
the question would be
check. One of the best musicians Kenya and rappers Kenya has ever had was Issa. Issa lived a very short, sweet life. He died at the age of 21. But we still listen to his music today. Mwai Kibaki, despite having been there for 10 years, he left. Mwai Kibaki has still been considered as one of the presidents that turned around this country.
Correct.
He did it in a period of
10 years. And wacha ni kuinterrupt kidogo alafu uendelee. Who had a bigger mess to clean? Mwai Kibaki after 24 years of no roads, no hospitals, no schools, no what. Ama umse mingine because of debt and this debt he was involved in this debt being
but
taken.
Look at how Kibaki handled that cleanup of the 24 years.
In 10 years he was able to do it. We forgot about Moi.
And you see, Moi Kibaki did most of the development within his second term. Within his first term. Because
during
the
Grand Coalition.
Grand Coalition, he was trying to manage Raila Odinga. His people also trying to manage Raila Odinga and his team.
Yes.
Remember, even in 2005, he was subjected to a referendum that did not that went the way it went, and led to the chaos that we had in 2007. But looking at it from that particular point of view, I think that you might even be given 1 year and he will do
you clean up
everything. Now that Ruto was deputy president, he knows the problems that were there in that Jubilee government. So he knows that nikigonga hapa, this is where the diagnosis is, and he knows what the problems are. So he is coming in with an easier time, knowing where the problems are.
Like, I'm actually scared to hear mse ka wewe, I know it's your personal nini, but to hear you support that, because ni kama kila mtu amesahau what Moi did, because Moi was here for 24 years,
exactly,
and out of those 24 years don't forget, like, after 14 years people were tired with Moi. After 14 so this other 10 came through an election.
Remember, Moi was never elected.
Hizi zingine mbili zake. Like, out of his 24 years,
we have now a new constitution. We have now a constitution in place. Wachana na hiyo ya Moi, because it was a jungle constitution. The thing is, what we are suffering now is that we are living in fear. The fear of the unknown, because why do people think that when there is no term limit, Ruto will rule forever? If he blunders in this first term, the Kenyan electorate is supposed to put aside their tribal. So the thing is, the reason why we are fearing the thing about scrapping of term limits is because we are still holed up in the cocoons of our tribes, so that we know tukitoa tu hii bas sasa we are headed to community moja ita lead forever. That is supposed to come out first.
Leto ikikam to at least hizi stories zingine mimi nikabuda kushinda, so unajua na dread and everything, but kitu moja naweza kuambia, hii story moja, like, if you make one person know that they can be president forever, they'll get complacent. That's number one. Number two, freedoms zitapunguka, because there's no one who wants to be criticized for the rest of his life. At some point itakuwa nyamazeni, and that's how journalists, nyinyi mtakuwa watu wa kwanza kudisappear, nyinyi ndio mtakuwa, it's not because it's absolute power corrupts. Unaona? So swali ni, because watu wanatumia age, Kibaki Uhuru has retired at 61. Ruto should retire at 65. Alafu kitu ingine inafaa kuwa, why is it that we only this one person can take us to the next level?
Leto, you yourself knowing that you have a timeline and you have a bulletin to deliver at 7 and 9 o'clock makes you work around that time.
You're right.
To make sure that you deliver your bulletin, your story, so that it makes it for 7 and 9 o'clock. And that's why you will not involve yourself with other side shows. But if you know that you have unlimited time, something that you're supposed to do tomorrow, you might even postpone it to next week.
My problem is that maybe then Kenyans elect bad presidents. Let me ask you a question. Everybody is praising Kibaki and truly putting face to what he did a good job. Had Kibaki continued for another 5 or 10 years,
people would not be happy.
Had he continued to do what he was doing for another 10 years, where will you be as a country?
No, people, let me tell you. I think one of the things we never talked about was the tribal element of Kenya. And I think, like, since muko like mainstream media, kuna one perspective mufil kama mwezi cover. The fact that Kenya did not start through Kenyans. This is a forced union. Like, it's white people created the country, made all these tribes live together. So you have to make these other tribes feel like they're playing a role. That's why hapo I think failure ya Kibaki ilikuwaga hivyo, vile aliingia with this, like, all these tribes had supported him, then watu waka feel like his cabinet was not regionally balanced. I think that was the main beef na yeye. Ama what else brought hiyo coalition kuharibika? NAC ilikuwa tu stories za regional balance.
You see, mtabueka na yeye. Asha kutengenezea barabara, asha kufanyia kila kitu, and then what? Unajua utataka mtu mwingine? And that's just basically how humans are. Ukiona mdemu, utamdishi alafu jo usikie tu umechoka. Unataka kitu kingine mpya. Ni kama ile watu wanasemanga uwezi kula sukuma kila siku. Basically let people have their 10 years. Finish it. Ishia.
Akufai kwa hii debate hata ifai kwa ina come because nini tuangalie the biggest economy in the world ni America. Na America inakuagaje? Walisema Bush alimess country, si ndio? Obama akaingia na akairectify in 8 years, not 10. Alafu sahau America has worse because they have elections every 2 years. Because that's one thing people forget. The midterms, and the midterms affect policy, they affect everything, like what the president can do. And you're still able to change a country after 2 years of elections every time. So history tukisema like come and stay forever. Wewe ni nani?
You know the argument Salah was making, and I got an opportunity to speak with him at length. He was like, look at Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel left at her own volition in Germany.
That's Germany, man. That's a whole different.
In Europe, he was also of the opinion that he stayed there for more than 20 years, and he's seen what one leader can do. But remember, in places like Germany, the larger majority of the population is old people. So they will feel like, do we really need to do this? But in a fast changing place like ours, where we have the likes of Akina Ndindinyoro growing up very fast in politics, a very sharp man, and these are the people that want to go into leadership next. So what I think is that just put in place a strong succession plan, so that even as you exit, you make sure that the person that you're leaving the leadership of the country to are people that are as brilliant as you. As much as Murkomen and Aaron Cheviot don't talk to me, I think these are people who are extremely brilliant. Murkomen was a lecturer. Murkomen thinks on his feet. And those are the kind of people that we want.
Where the risk, where now, to me, I say that even if Ruto tries this, it's going to end badly. It's because of the tribe factor. The fact that tayari kuna hiyo sentiment, we can't be ruled by 2 tribes forever. Then the longest serving president for this country was a Kalenjin. So if you tell people that another Kalenjin is going to rule forever, they'll always remember Moi. So najua watu wezi sahau. People will always remember Moi, and that won't happen. Hiyo ni kitu moja. I'm not even in politics, but after having seen what happened in 1992, for us to go where we are right now, I can comfortably say that any person planning to rule forever in Kenya, it's going to come at the price of too much blood. It's not worth it.
Let me tell you, we are raising up a generation that does not speak its mother tongue. These people you're calling the Gen Z and all that. And these people, when they look at Ruto, they're not looking at Ruto as a Kalenjin. They are looking at Rigathi Gachagua as a Kikuyu.
They are.
Most of them are as a product. Where wife yako ni Mjaka?
Wife wangu si Mjaka. Wife wangu si Mjaka, mto yangu hajui Kijaka. But still, majority of the voters wanna come from where? Rural areas. They're still tribal
areas, but also these people who are coming from rural areas are also more open to what is happening in the country, that they are no longer looking at themselves as either Kalenjin or Luya or anything.
That's what nakwambia. The 2 tribes keeping the presidency, that can go on infinitely. That one I don't dispute. Lakini one person, especially a Kalenjin, after Moi, it's not happening. Like if Moi had a better record than he had, maybe that would be debatable. But mina kumbuka like Kenya ilikuwa, because ile kitu ita happen automatically ni a deputy president will always say they don't have power. You remember what Ruto was saying? So Rigathi, you think Rigathi does not have presidential ambitions? Does he?
We don't know. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't
every
know. Every human, where says it to put a chance?
He's now gotten into the position of deputy president, and every day he says, "Aya, mimbaka saa zingine na mshago nakumbusho you the deputy president."
So nataka kuniambia haizi taka kuamka kama president.
Anaweza taka kuamka?
Si ndio?
Hata mimi niko na ambition nataka kuwa president.
Si ndio? Kibaki si alitaka after kuachana na Moi. So Rigathi haezi kubali tu kuwa deputy forever. At some point he'll want to be president. So automatically you see that marriage would not last forever. You see. So me know that we are past that. According to Mimi, we are past that. I think new bonga na say mimi ni atuwezi enda hapo because Rigathi has his ambitions. Apart from vile umesema Ndindi has his ambitions. I think even Itumbi.
Siasa ni hesabu.
So wewe unataka kuniambia hiyo hesabu inatoka wapi?
Wacha nikwambie mwa. Wajua mimi I'm speaking as a minority.
Yeah.
Na katika siasa za Kenya minorities tumefinyiliwa chini sana na kina Kennedy Murithi kwa sababu they are the majority. Ukisikia wakitetea sana hii kusikue na scrap ya term ni kwa sababu them they have been in power. So they know even if this one gets out of power mwenye ataingia still bado ni we because we are the super majority numbers. So sisi that's why hata umeona mwenye anapush hiyo kitu ni minority. Kwa sababu sisi minority tumeona hata in the next 300 years hiyo kitu itawahi kuja hiyo haitaikuja kwetu kwa minorities. So
tunanida kuja sema watu ni tribe
because you have said already we are still coalescing under numbers and tribes. So for us as my now thinking as a minority ni kwamba we either have a rotational presidency.
Now that is where you should be talking.
We either have a rotational presidency. If there is no rotational presidency, let's scrap the term limits.
Let's rotate us every 10 years. It end up with a small tribe.
To increase competition so that Kikuyu will not want this Kikuyu to continue ruling. Asema hata afadhali tupigie Masai.
Yeah, because Letoo should, instead of looking at term limits and why we should scrap them, Letoo should be talking about a rotational presidency. A rotational presidency will guarantee him and his community their time to eat. But if we are looking at not at scrapping term limits, it will still be a game of numbers. And the person who will have convinced most of the tribes by building an arithmetic that works will continue being president. Even as William Ruto goes into his second term, probably in 2027, it is the team ile nyata make, ile nyata tengeneza, yetam guarantee the presidency as we move forward. Right now things are very fluid.
I think one of the reasons niko against your story ni moja. Kama hatukusema Uhuru is too young to retire. We can't say Ruto will be too young to retire. I mean that's my problem. Like Uhuru kila mtu alikuwa we maliza uende. Then all of a sudden sasa Ruto atizizi yoe ni kijana.
Sasa the thing is the complaints out there is kwamba from Uhuru tulienda kwa Ruto. From Ruto tutarudi kwa Rigathi. Let's assume that is the
I'm not a betting man, but mimi after Ruto musipoleta mambo ya umri ni Matakarua. Rigathi ita last siko baya. I'm not a betting. I've said I'm not a betting man. Kila mtu ata dismiss Matakarua the same way in 2002 we all dismissed Uhuru. Na nasema Matakarua ni kwambia kwa nini? Apart from the tribal numbers, there is the gender card that has not been played in Kenya.
Tumejaribu 2022 na imekataa.
Mimi sioni Rigathi siko baya lakini yeye jua hisi yake. Na alafu selling sengine unaita kwa hard selling anaitwa selling what's his name like selling D&D and what they're always going. The tribe story will come.
Have you really studied the election in 2022?
Yeah, nime study. Najua ni numbers. Alafu for those numbers to work
may surprise watu wengi sana. There have been so many surprises in this election
yes
that nothing is impossible. Even Rigathi Gachagua can become.
Yes, Rigathi can become. But
well, vile umesema hauoni. But
kwa nini sioni? No president has ever been friends with his deputy for 10 years. Angalia history. Kenyatta hakuweza, Moi hakuweza. Why will Uhuru hakuweza? Why will Ruto be able to be friends with his deputy for 10 years? After the difference is Ruto, I feel like he's more lethal and brutal as a president. Akitaka kukumaliza, atakumaliza more easily than Uhuru. Uhuru kuna ile ubabi alikuwa nayo, atakuwa pali akichill. So na feel ni kama hapo. So Rigathi is a surprise, but mi naona still presidency itarudi central. But no, at this time it's going to be a female.
What are the scenarios?
Takwa female.
What are the scenarios if Rigathi don't go to the end with Ruto?
Just replace him with another Kikuyu.
In terms of after now Ruto is aging
happy.
out.
Yes.
Ruto finishes 2 terms. And now they still have that friction of political competition where Ruto has a preferred successor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like his preferred successor this time will be a female. I feel like that's the only card left. Which other card is left?
I think for every one person, Ruto has put a checkmate. for everybody,
there's
a checkmate.
Because swali
Ruto is a very brilliant politician.
Yes. Nyinyi ndio mlikuwa kwa ground. Was Rigathi his first choice?
I wouldn't know.
Hakukuwa, I mean, naona vitu zangu. Say, remember saying something like no Rigathi, no Ruto. Hakuwa Kithure was not the one supposed to take it.
We don't know. I remember something like that. You know, kuna siasa yenye inasemwa na wajua sisi ndio tuko kwa hii room. Na tukitoka kwa hii room, kuna wase wengine watainterpret nini tuliko tunafanya. So you never know. And in politics, there is nothing that looks the way it is. Probably they wanted to create that, and they knew that Rigathi was going to be their deputy president candidate from the word go, but they wanted to create it so that it looks like it was
Kithure.
Or it was hard to come to competitive, that's the word.
Okay.
So in politics, nothing looks as you look at it. There is nothing that looks as it does on the surface. Kuna vitu mingi sana zenye huwa zinatendeka, na wewe mwenyewe utasema haya, kumbe ilikuwa ngumu hivi. And probably they wanted to create that so that it shows you kulikuwa na ngori.
Nani atakuwa, tukimalizia, nani atakuwa old? Kusene chiki, kama mtataka kuhepa job. How old will Karua be in 2032?
Karua is already 60 something.
Karua age.
Because to me, if I was a betting
Karua age yako 65 sahi.
Yes, she'll be 75. That's why nasema,
so
as long as he bullshit ya nini age happen, here age limits. As long as age apita, I think mimi, if I was betting,
right?
I'd bet on Karua.
77? Na Joe Biden ameingia akiwa 77?
Yeah. Me, if I was betting, I'd bet on Karua. But uzuri hii it's forever. It's on the internet.
Rigathi is 57 years.
Karua is receiving a lot of support from the elitists like you. Wewe na akina Boni.
Was she ever popular? At any point, has she ever been popular in Kikuyu land?
No.
Skuza Kibaki, she was not popular?
No.
Okay. Then my other question, my nini?
Kama kwa ile polling station alipiga kura.
Cause this time she was going against someone that a debt had to be paid. In like remember umecheki Ephraim.
Ruto took Ruto took himself to Mount Kenya. Ruto was more popular in Mount Kenya. This hata angechagua nani kama deputy wake. Ruto took himself and he camped in Mount Kenya. And he knew and he has studied the politics of this country to know that for you to win, you need the Kikuyu. The Kikuyu are the majority, they are the populous people. Even me as somebody from Mount Kenya, I've had so many people ask me from where I come from in Meru, for how long will you continue playing second fiddle to the Kikuyus? But my answer has always been, guys, ule mtu mwenye ako na kisu ndiye anajua vile atakugawia. Why do we want to change it? We are only 1.7. These guys are is it 5?
Which nakwambia, so at what point did Karua stop being Kikuyu? The only thing she did was she was not running for president, she was running as a deputy. If she's running as a president, it's a whole different equation. Because kumbuka vile nani, history repeats itself, sindio? Uhuru was an elitist. No one voted for Uhuru in 2002. In 10 years later, everyone was voting for Uhuru. So why can't that happen for Karua? And Karua has never hajarun this time as president. Alikuwa deputy. Because pia Rigathi, usisahau, Rigathi si inasemekanaga alikuwa DO. So ka alikuwa DO, was he popular amongst the Kikuyu? No, he wasn't.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
That's why I don't think there's an elitist. Because these people are millionaires. They're all worth over $4 million. So can you say that they can relate to your problems? They can't.
That's why
they're
I'm
all
telling
elites.
Effort year 2022 was all William.
Yes.
And between 2017 and 2022, because people say that William Ruto is the one who placed a number of people into the elections as they were going into 2017. Ruto is the one who managed the Jubilee nominations in 2016. There were friends that he had made, and William gave them the Jubilee ticket. These people came in. And when these people came in, together with those that also got the ticket of Jubilee, they worked closely with William Samoei Ruto. One of these people is Ndende Nyoro. Ndende Nyoro is very lethal when it comes to speaking.
I know.
Look at the likes of Akina Alice Wahome. Alice Wahome never saw eye to eye with Uhuru Kenyatta. So she also became more lethal. Look at Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua came in and became a very good friend of William Ruto. So when you go into history and look at the people that were very calculating and would speak in the region of Mount Kenya, they were the people that were with William Samoei Ruto. So Ruto, in playing his victim card, also looked for very good people to speak his language in Mount Kenya. And these were the people that went out of their way kuhakikisha narrative yake imeuzwa. So Ruto also made sure that he was a constant figure in Mount Kenya. When they were realizing and they wanted to stop Ruto from Mount Kenya, he had penetrated so deep.
But now the question lazima to answer is this love for Ruto unconditional?
No.
It's not unconditional.
Political love has never been unconditional.
So if it's unconditional, that means it can be challenged in 5 years' time or 10 years' time.
It can.
The same way, Uhuru was loved unconditionally for like maybe
they used to call him Mudhamaki.
Yes.
What changed?
What happened? Tunakwambia so the same thing can happen. And you naona like Rigathi, unless history itani prove wrong, deputy president na president hawajaisikizana mpaka mwisho. Ulikuwa unasema?
Unasema sasa ukiona the person with the easiest succession matrix ni Rigathi. He has 2 people to choose from. He either picks Mandago from Uasin Gishu or takes Musalia Mudavadi from Western.
As he's running it.
Yes. He's a man just like Ruto was, placed at a very vantage point of taking over.
Okay.
Yes. These 2 communities, the Rift Valleyans and the Westerners, are the ones wao sasa ndio watakimbilia hii kiti ya running mate.
Okay.
That my analysis very.
Mimi na mimi kile Ruto was able to achieve to me was a miracle. That's my personal opinion, and I don't think Rigathi can maybe na underestimate, but me I feel like Ruto is one of a kind, like to be able to pull off what he pulled, unless ni amuoni it was that thing was
Ruto has been in government since 1992.
And kwa nini mnafikiria Rigathi will have an easy path hivyo? Because I feel like you guys are saying like it's such an easy path for him. Me I feel like it's going to be full of.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy there, I will say. But it will. Rigathi has already, he is like these people whom, when you throw lemons at him, he makes lemonade. He embraced the name Rigiji. He's making, politicians, he's also making himself a talking point at every meeting nowadays. Even when mabuda wanakaa chini have a drink, wakidiscuss watadiscuss Rigathi Gachagua. Kuna watu wengine watafikiria ni kama ana make mablanda vile anaendelea kubonga, but yeye anaendelea kuongea. Nyinyi mfikirieni vile mtamfikiria. So Rigathi is slowly getting himself into a talking point at most of these discussions. Right now we're discussing him.
Okay, wacha tuone, because me for vile nimesema if I was a betting man, wacha tuta revisit this years later, but mimi nasema ningepatia Karua a higher chance and then Ndindi even a higher chance than Rigathi. I always feel like someone will come.
Kile kitu inachangingi succession ni venye opposition inajipanga. What gave Ruto an easy ride was when Raila decided to do a handshake with Uhuru. So basically blanda zote za serikali ya Jubilee zikaenda Raila. And then now what will be the difference if Rigathi waende na Ruto all the way to the end bila kukosana? Does it mean blanda zote zenye watakuwa wamefanya in the 10 years Rigijindi atakuwa nazo kwa mgongo alafu ikuwe nzito zaidi kumpeleka State House? Those are some of the things like lazima usubiri uangalie how will the opposition play its politics. That will always heavily influence how the succession happens.
Okay. Wacha tungoje tucheki. Alafu kuna waseni koshwa na shindo wasi wanasikiza ni journalist, so they have to be on call. Wajua mezoeaga kila mtu yuko nimeshukuru sana. Si feel nikaa tumeponga enough. Kuna vitu mob sana niko nataka kuuliza.
Tunaweza fanya part 2.
But tunaweza do part 2 later. Alafu pia vile umesema kama na mitige Moses Kurio sema kuna podcast umuenjoy sana. Supenda kumuenjoy na his famous saying the foreskin misleads the mind. This is a podcast. So you're allowed to make that joke.
That is a very easy guy. The way he relates to journalists. Hata saa hii ukimpigia simu, if he is not busy, atashika simu na akipata missed call yako atakurudishia.
Na how is Itumbi? Like as Itumbi pia alicheza cards zake sana. I feel like he's and I felt like he deserved a position. maybe tukimalizia, you didn't feel like he deserved a position in this government?
Let's wait, maybe there's a position coming.
Yeah.
Wajua Ruto kesho ni anafikisha 2 months into office.
Yeah.
Hajamaliza.
Haziachukuliwa zote position zote?
This government is big.
Yeah. Because PSs and CSs are gone. Because me, I felt like Nani deserved even the CS for ICT because he's an ICT guy. Situmbi is an ICT guy. I felt like he played such a big role. Like one of the strengths the Kenya Kwanza campaign to me was online. I felt like no one could mess with them online.
You see, being a guru, being a guru does not necessarily translate to management.
Yeah.
For you utakwambia utapata ule that is why hawajachukua lecturer wakamweka Ministry of Education, wamechukua former DC. Chugu was a DC. It's management. So maybe kuna spot atapatiwa.
Unajua pia si lazima kuwe na position ndio kuwe powerful.
I mean nataka position tu.
Position za zingine wewe inakufunga. Angalia msee kama Farouk Kibet. Farouk Kibet has been Ruto's guy, but isn't he not powerful? He's the one who gives you access to the president. He's the one who gives you access to William Ruto the man. Dennis Itumbi might not have been named as a cabinet minister or a PS, but that doesn't mean that he does not have the power to access the president.
He has power.
So probably the president will feel like there is a position that he will work best behind the scenes na inaendelea kumsaidia.
Okay.
But yet also we are just looking at it's just been tomorrow Sunday the 13th marks 2 months since William Ruto became the president of the Republic of Kenya. So there is still time. He's still constituting his government. Remember, even these permanent principal secretaries have not even been vetted by parliament. Vetting starts next week. So probably iko maambassador, bado watu wajanemiwa maambassador, iko
but
heads of parastatals.
Would you throw him as an ambassador considering you'll need him in 2027? Ama that's the other thing. You need him in 2027.
Let me tell you, Itumbi has suffered. Itumbi has been there for them during ICC. Itumbi is one of these loyal people that you would want by your side.
You understand?
But do you want him to have a position and tie him to that position, or do you want him close to you?
Ndio nasema like after 2027 that's when maybe you should consider giving him a position.
Remember, he still tweets on behalf of the government, and he will say one or two things. So probably he is one of these men that are very close to the president. The president might, I don't know how it works, but probably the president might want him to communicate some things. Probably he will be given a position where he needs to continue mobilizing for him to be relevant in
2027.
Until now, in the Ruto campaign, probably he's a man who works best when he's
no portfolio. Okay, because he did like an exceptional job. He's one of those people who walikuwa like he was good at his thing.
He is good. He was not. He is good at what he does. Remember, he started with them even time ICC, and he propelled them to where they were. Right now, he's also at a point where I believe he's also very useful to the administration that is there. And now they have gotten government. What next? I'd rather have a position where the president has given me the permission to use his name to make money.
Okay.
And nakuja tu niambie mtu kama Waziri Murkomen aje. Naweza supply kitu hapa. And mbele utafute kitu yenye unataka.
But we should not do business with the government if you are whatever. But naelewa kile unasema. So ni vile nimesema ni time yetu ya kuhepa ili kwa like a special iko nini show, yani hata sisi tunaweza nini. Mimi mwenyewe nimeipenda. The only thing place to me disagree kabisa ni stories za limits. Me I feel like it's necessary staki Kenya iko Uganda. Leto wewe ni jina kubwa bwana. Wewe unajua president anakujua personally.
Hata kama ni hataki kusikia jamii inanyanyaswa. Hata kama ni jina kubwa
lakini advocate for
rotational bana si ati
sword. No rotational presidency, tuende scrap term limits.
acha wewe hapana
yani ile afadhali tuchome store tulale wote njaa
yes hiyo story yako time limits
tuangushe paa ya nyumba tunyeshewe wote
hapo hiyo nimekataa nayo nimekataa
but of course I believe that the Kenyan parliament is wise. It is
we need a referendum for that ndio it have to actually go on the ground
the Kenyan parliament
so now inabidi Wetangula na Mudavadi waende huko waambiane they have zero presidential ambitions forever. That would be really hard to sell in would be really hard to sell in Western. I'd want to know how hard it would be to sell that in Central, like unajua nini tusahau Moi. I think it would be very hard to sell anywhere in the world. I mean Kenya. But hii tutashinda tukiendelea na hii speech jo. Nimebambika sana na hii story jo. Na need tena jo one of these days.
Alafu any time unatuhitaji tuko.
Ni vile mko na haraka alafu news inaingia pia. Yaani kunini news presenter ni hard.
Funny enough wana habari sisi siku yetu huanza saa hii. Wakati tunakaribia news. Kutoka asubuhi tunaweza pigiana simu, tunaweza chochana, lakini saa hizi ndio utanipata kwa simu. Kwa sababu saa hii ndio siku yetu huanza kutengeneza news.
Sindio na cheki. Na kwa sona shindwa ni after. Tunashoot this on a Saturday afternoon. Nyi mtaiona una Sunday. Nimebambika mbaya kabisa. So the next thing ni tunataka kumeet some of your friends aka politicians. Tukimalizia hii special. Hii tunaita the Econini si news desk, ni news couch.
Na mimi na request one of the next episodes. Mkuje mshoot kwa one of my many polygamous homes.
Sisi ukituambia tuniko tunakutokea. Sisi tunaona tunabeba studio tunakuja.
Bibi mwenye yako free, mwambie ni kwake tunakuja tuchinjiwe mbuzi vizuri. Tukue na show mzuri kwa kichaka. Si lazima pia tukae hivi. Oje sasa lazima kuna assistant wetu hapa anaitwa Ian niko like si ni rika moja na wewe. Iko nene.